Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Peter Glidden here, hoping you're having a learning experience today, as I hope you do every day, because this is what it's about. It's about education, which is interesting, don't you think? Because when you look up the term doctor in Latin, it translates to docere, which means teacher. And doctors are supposed to be teachers. But MDs are dictators. They're not teachers. They're dictators. They're not teachers. They don't educate you about what's going on. They just tell you what to do, walk away, and expect you to do it. And then when their treatments harm you, well, that's just par for the course. That's just life. Well, we did the best we could. What do you expect from us? It's not a perfect science. Collateral damage. That's their attitude. What's your attitude? Well, your attitude should be fire your MD now, because when it comes to chronic disease, they've got nothing for you but symptom suppressive managerial treatments, the intention of which is not to cure the disease. Your MD is not trained how to cure the disease. They're not trained how to cure the disease, and it should be illegal for your hospital to call itself a healthcare facility, because it does not care for your health. It manages your symptoms. There's a gigantic difference between caring for your health, making people healthier, and managing their symptoms. You want to have an eye-opening experience, go to the emergency room. You better have deep pockets, though, ladies and gentlemen, because it is one expensive proposition. Let's go back to the phones right now. Omaha's up with Cleta. Hey, Cleta, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. How are you?
I'm all right, Cleta. Thanks for the phone call. What's happening in Omaha?
Oh, it's rainy and cold. I have a question in regards of grams of sugar a day.
Ooh.
And how and the gluten. I bought some gluten-free popcorn, but it has sunflower oil in it. Should I not be eating that, or?
Well, you got played a little bit there, Cleta, because all popcorn is gluten-free. Right, all popcorn is gluten-free. It said gluten-free on it just to kind of reel you in, right? So you'd buy that popcorn rather than another type of popcorn. Gluten is a collective term for proteins that are in certain grains, and the biggest grains that gluten is found in are wheat, barley, rye, and oats. Wheat, barley, rye, and oats. So if it's not wheat, barley, rye, and oats, it's gluten-free. I mean, you could put a gluten-free label on an apple, right? I mean, you'd be correct, but it's a little misleading. So if it's not wheat, barley, rye, or oats, you're good to go with anything. Where it really gets tricky and where it really gets problematic is in baked goods, right? Like pizza and pasta and breads and rolls and bagels and pie crusts and stuff like that. Pancakes, right? Waffles. This is the stuff that you have to be careful of being gluten-free. And as long as you're gluten-free, you're good to go. And we don't like oil of any kind. Now, it's virtually impossible to get away from a little bit of oil if you buy a gluten-free bread or a gluten-free baked product. And, I'm okay with the small amount of oil that's in that stuff. I am okay with that. If you're doing the 90 essential nutrients, your selenium and your antioxidants every day. The bigger question here, how much sugar is necessary? I have absolutely no idea. I really don't know the answer to that question, but here's what I do know, and this should make your head explode. I mean, what I'm about to say will probably make your head explode, and when your head explodes, it's going to sound probably a little bit like this. Right? Your head explodes, that's what it's going to sound like, right? So, sugar is not the Antichrist. You couldn't blink an eyelash without sugar. As a matter of fact, your chromosomes, your genetic material, your DNA is made from sugar. It's made from sugar. Isn't that amazing? It's made from sugar. The sugar is not the problem. Sugar is the gasoline of your body. Your body loves sugar. Your body needs sugar. Your body turns whatever it can into sugar. The problem isn't sugar. The problem is how much sugar you eat and whether or not your body has the stuff it needs to process it. And it's a very, very good question, right? How much sugar is mandatory on a day-to-day basis? You would think that I would know the answer to that, but in fact, I do not. So I'm going to do some homework over the next couple days, and I'm going to try to come up with an answer to that question because I don't know what it is. But basically, if you are eating too much sugar, or your body has lost its ability to metabolize even the exact proper amount of sugar, you start to develop some very strong and persistent symptoms. So the hallmark symptoms that people develop when they have a sugar intolerance or they're eating too much sugar, here's how it goes. When you're having problem with sugar metabolism in your body, you will get sleepy after you eat a meal that has sugar in it, right? You'll get sleepy. So, you have lunch, and after lunch you have a Milky Way or a Snickers bar or a bowl of ice cream. Or, lunch, you drink a glass of orange juice with breakfast or whatever. Anytime you eat something that has sugar in it, if you have a problem with sugar, you're going to get sleepy within 15 to 30 minutes of eating that meal. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, I need a siesta. I need to just sit down. I need to go to sleep for 10 or 15 minutes. That's a hallmark of a blood sugar problem. The second symptom of a blood sugar problem is you wake up in the middle of the night and you're wide awake. You go to bed at 10 or 11 o'clock. You wake up at 2 or 3 o'clock and you're wide awake. It's like dawn, right? It's like, oh, my God, I'm wide awake. What do I do? That's a symptom of a sugar metabolism problem. That's a symptom of a sugar metabolism problem. You wake up in the middle of the night, you're wide awake, and or you fall asleep or get really sleepy, get really sluggish after you've eaten a meal. And one of the worst symptoms of this would be an extreme blood sugar problem, is you just fall asleep. It's called narcolepsy. There's some people, they just fall asleep. It's like those people when you go to a longevity lecture, right? And you look around the room and there's like 10 people that are asleep in the audience, right?
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about, right? It's not because, right? Right? It's not because the speaker's boring. It's because they have blood sugar issues, but they don't know it.
Wow.
And they've gotten used to, having no energy. They've gotten used to sleeping half their life away. But that's just normal for them, but it's not normal. And that's a hallmark of a blood sugar imbalance. But it's a good question, So if none of those things are happening to you, right? If none of those things are happening to you, then you probably don't have a blood sugar problem. But the final nail in this diagnostic coffin is some blood work. It's called hemoglobin A1C. It's a blood test, hemoglobin A1C. It's capital A dash 1, just the number 1, and then a small c. Hemoglobin A1C. You can order that test yourself at directlabs.com. Directlabs.com. You can order your own hemoglobin A1C test and bypass the MD completely. And when you get the results of that test back, if your numbers are outside of the reference range, then you have a blood sugar problem. That's a good test to do once a year as part of an annual physical, and in the next couple of weeks I'm going to be rolling that out. I'm going to be putting together a protocol that people can do once a year with blood work, gastrointestinal analysis to dial this in so that you can sidestep your MD completely. Hemoglobin A1C is a really good test to have. If you're inside the reference range, you're good. If you're outside the reference range, then you need to do some work, even if you're symptom-free. So, that's how we do it, basically. But I am going to do a little homework, Cleta, because it's been a long time since I have done some homework. And I'm going to try to dial in an answer to your question, how many grams of sugar a day should somebody have? Sound like a deal?
I don't have to do. I have one more question, and that is, I've been having like a brain fog. I don't know what brain fog feel like, but periodically throughout the day, I've just been having. They're not headaches. It just seems like it's. I don't know how to explain it. It's just kind of hard to explain, but it feels like I don't know. I want to say a brain fog. Or pressure or something in the side of my head, like, I don't know.
Well, have you been hanging out around Baptists lately? Because that's probably what's causing it.
No. No. No.
How about Democrats? You've been hanging out around Democrats? How about Republicans? You've been hanging out around... I know you have.
No.
Well, that's interesting. The first thing to think about when we're talking about brain fog is that you're cheating on the diet somehow. So you want to double check and look to see if you're eating wheat, barley, rye, or oats, okay? Just triple check that. Make sure you're not doing that. The second thing you want to do is make sure you're taking enough Beyond Tangy Tangerine appropriate for your body weight. So how much do you weigh, Cleta?
I weigh 175.
All right, so for 7 days in a row, here's what I want you to do as an experiment. I want you to do 1 level scoop of Beyond Tangy Tangerine in 8 ounces of water, 8 ounces of water, 4 times a day. 4 times a day. And I want you to take at least a half an hour to drink each dose down. 1 level scoop in 8 ounces of water 4 times a day for 7 days in a row. Dial in the gluten-free diet. You probably already are, so I think this is just you need more of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. And then call me back in 7 days and tell me if the brain fog is lifted. I think it's that simple. I think you just need more Beyond Tangy Tangerine.
Okay.
All right, because... Go ahead, real quick.
I was going to say, I don't eat anything that's wheat, barley, or rye. All I eat is scrambled eggs every morning, low heat with butter, and I eat baked chicken, and I eat nitrate and nitrite turkey bacon, and when I have salad, I put lemon juice on it, and that's basically all I have besides my supplements that I drink twice a day.
All right, then you need more Beyond Tangy Tangerine. That's the very first thing to think of. Now, if that doesn't work... And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Had a little bit of a problem with the technology at the end of the last segment here, so let's boot Cleta up again real quick. Cleta, are you still with me? Come in, Cleta. Hello, Cleta.
Hello. Yes.
Yeah. So we had a little bit of a problem there at the end with the listeners. So that's what I want you to do. For 4 weeks, dial this in, or actually just for 7 days, dial this in with the extra Beyond Tangy Tangerine. The only other possibility is that you're allergic to chicken eggs. That's the only other possibility here. You might be allergic to chicken eggs, and here's how you test that. You make the eggs, you sit down at the table, you take your pulse, you see what your pulse rate is, then you eat the eggs. After you've eaten the eggs, without standing up, moving around, or doing anything, you take your pulse again. If the pulse has increased by 10 beats per minute, you're probably allergic to what you just ate. If the pulse has increased by 10 beats a minute, you're probably allergic to what you just ate. You know, the only thing that causes brain fog is the consistent consumption of an allergic food or consistent lack of nutrients. So... do both experiments, see which one sticks, and then give me a call back with a report. I got to move on, Cleta. I appreciate you very much. Thanks so much for the phone call. California's up next. Joan is in the house. Hey, Joan, thanks for the call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. You hear me okay?
Oh, yeah, you're perfect, Joan, like you're right next door. How can I help?
Well, I was at the convention.
Oh, yeah.
And I spoke to you briefly. I've been on the radio show with you some months ago. I have some benign tumors from in the middle of my neck.
Yeah, in the middle of your neck and up around your parotid glands, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the parotid gland on that left side was taken out, and the other saliva gland taken out too because of how it spread. But Anyway, so they're in there, and I've done MRIs over the years from the doctors, and it's not changing very much, and except for the one on my cheek where I did a needle biopsy. But anyway, so I've spoken with you before, and you suggested a homeopathy thing of the Thuya occidentalis.
Yeah.
Now, in addition, I'm doing the Biontangi tangerine, 6 selenium a day. I also am doing Fucoid Z, like about 15 a day.
Yep.
And glucogel. I've been doing the capsules because I've got osteopenia and a little bit of arthritis, and I'm about 106 weight. Oh, I'm also doing some RTQ.
Cell Shield RTQ, right? So tell me what you've experienced that got better.
So what got better is my energy's gotten better. I'd had arthritis starting on my right hand with a couple of the joints getting bigger and hurting some, and then I started the longevity stuff, and no new places came up, and then over a few months, the little bit of pain I had was gone. And then what did happen is at the end of a month, I ran out and didn't count it right and whatever, I was running low, so I rationed myself to not run out totally, but instead of I was taking like 10 or 11 of the glucogels a day, and I was taking down to about 4, 2 to 4 a day. And the pain started coming back in those, and I got one of the joints swelled up some more and stuff like that. And then as soon as I got my shipment and restarted glucogel, within a couple of days, then it got better there. So. Well,
that's interesting.
So that's really good. I also take some thyroid medicine. I was on the chat, the live Q&A this morning, and it changed a little bit. Free T3 and free T4 went down, so, and it may have been because I might have had like eggplant before or something like that affecting it. So I don't know. The thyroid, I'm just going to keep going along in the plan and see how it goes. But I was wanting to know if you had any suggestions with a benign tumor thing. It's like it's not doing anything horrible or anything right now. And so I'm happy that it's not doing that. I'd just like to keep it at least not growing or do whatever I can to stay healthy with respect to that.
So is this a little stone that's in the parotid gland, or is it a problem in the lymph tissue, or has nobody told you?
Oh, no. Let's see. 25, 30 years ago, I did have a large lump in the parotid gland on my left, and I could feel it sticking outward.
Yeah.
And that's when they said there was a benign tumor. They called it pleomorphic adenoma inside that left parotid gland, and they took the parotid gland out.
All right, stick around, Joan. We're up against the hard break. We'll do more when we come back. Thanks so much. Stick around, folks.
Right.
More to come.
Okay.
Welcome back, everybody. Talking to Joan in California, who wants help supporting and promoting her salivary gland. And so, Joan, here's the deal. What I would recommend in this case, in order to support and promote the structure and function of the glands in your neck and face, would be Conium homeopathic, Conium maculatum. You spell that C-O-N-I-U-M. C-O-N like Nancy, I-U-M like Mary, maculatum, M like Mary, A-C-U-L-A-T-U-M like Mary. Get one multi-dose tube in the 200C or 200 CK strength. 200C or 200 CK strength. Put it into the water as I advised before, same way you did with the Thuya, and take 2 pellets orally in the morning and 2 liquid doses throughout the day. 3 doses total. 2 solid pellets in the morning and 1 liquid dose twice a day of the Conium maculatum, 200C or CK. Do that for 21 days. and give me a shout back. That's the only thing you need. You only need to add here homeopathy, in my opinion, in order to bring this stuff full circle and really increase your body's ability to maximize its structure and function. Additionally, if you really want to go for it, you could add into the bargain, if you haven't already, 1 or 2 ounces of just the straight plant minerals a day. 1 or 2 ounces of the straight plant minerals a day. That sounds like a good plan. You're not taking the plant minerals as a standalone thing now, are you?
No, I haven't, but I heard you recommend it for a variety of things and was considering that, yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I think, and by the way, this is good advice for anybody in the Longevity Nation. If you haven't already done it as an experiment for a couple of weeks, take 1 or 2 or 3 ounces of the plant-derived minerals a day, additionally to what you're already doing, and see if you notice a difference. You might be surprised at how you feel because your body has high needs for minerals. 66% of your nutrient needs are the minerals, and often by giving your body a lion's share of the minerals, you're going to feel a little bit better. But Conium maculatum, C-O-N-I-U-M, maculatum, is the next homeopathic medicine for you to give a try to, Joan. So try it on for size, okay? And give me a call back 21 days. And God bless you for trusting me. I appreciate it more than you know. California's up next. Let's talk to Sylvia and see what's cracking. Hey, Sylvia, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome.
I'm on dialysis, and I'd like to know what am I looking for when I can see that my kidneys are coming back?
Well, every time you go in for dialysis, they do some blood work, right?
Yes.
And they calculate how much dialysis they're going to give you and how to dial that machine in based on the results of your blood work. So this really isn't any different than measuring blood pressure or blood sugar numbers. When the medical nutrition program kicks in, the dialysis, the blood work that you get before each treatment will improve. And they will adjust the dialysis treatment appropriately, and they will mention to you that, son of a gun, your numbers look better than they did the last time. And that's, of course, what we want to see. Now, really, in pragmatic, reality-based terms, this depends entirely upon how with it and communicative the dialysis technician is. Because sometimes the dialysis technician isn't going to mention that there's been, a 10% shift, because to them it doesn't really matter, because you're always going to be on dialysis, and what the heck difference does it make that your numbers are 10% less than they were the time before, right?
Right.
So you need to, and sometimes you get just this most awesome person God ever created. They're really into medicine because they really want to help people. They're really communicative, and they're like, oh my God, it's 10% better than it was the last time. What are you doing, right? So it really depends entirely upon the mental status of the lab tech who's doing the test. So, I would actively communicate with them and say, hey, look, what were my numbers last time? Is there any improvement? Am I getting better? Am I getting worse? What do you think?
Well, I'm always constantly asking them that, and I'm always constantly getting my lab results.
And what's it look like?
They look good, except, my GFR is still low.
Has anything improved in the blood work?
Oh, yes. But my hemoglobin is very, very low. I am anemic.
Are you vegetarian?
No, I'm not. I am taking meat.
Okay, good. Okay. And tell me what nutritional supplements you're taking and how much you weigh.
I am 157, and I'm taking all of Dr. Wallach's supplements, the dailies. I was taking 6. They told me to up it now to 9.
9 daily. How much selenium are you doing?
6 a day. 9.
Okay. All right. And are you eliminating the 10 bad foods?
Yes.
Okay, good girl. And what are you doing for antioxidants?
Well, I'm just whatever Dr. Wallach has recommended.
All right. Are you doing the triple treat chocolate?
Yes, I have that.
How many pieces a day?
2.
Okay, do 4 a day.
Okay.
And also you want to educate yourself about do a Google search, please, for ORAC value of food. That's capital O, capital R, capital A, capital C.
Right.
All right. Do a Google search for ORAC value of food, and you want to be consuming 50,000 ORAC points minimum of antioxidants a day. 50,000 ORAC points minimum of antioxidants a day. If you do 4 pieces of chocolate, you're going to hit that mark.
Okay.
You're going to be above that mark. You're going to be closer to
the minerals as well.
There's no ORAC in the minerals. There's ORAC in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Are you doing the orange one or the blue one?
The orange one.
All right. How many scoops a day?
Just one. Twice a day.
All right, so that's 8,000 ORAC plus 2 chocolates, so that's 34 and 8. So you're up to about 45,000 ORAC a day. You need to be over 50. And quite frankly, with dialysis, it would be more prudent for you to be up around 100,000 ORAC a day, right? Now, look, you don't have to just do it all with supplements. You can increase your ORAC by adding cinnamon to your diet, or curry powder, or cayenne pepper, or, dark-skinned fruits like blackberries and raspberries and blueberries and stuff like this. So you can get a lot of green tea. You can get a lot of ORAC bang just from switching your food up a little bit. And it's important with dialysis because we believe that the fundamental problem here is oxidative damage to the kidney. Mm-hmm. That the kidney has been damaged not by bad genes, not by a voodoo curse, not by fate. Your kidneys have been damaged by free radicals. And so we eliminate the foods that have the free radicals, and we give your body the stuff it needs to fight free radicals. And that's ORAC points. So that's the deal. ORAC antioxidants are a big player here. A really easy way to kind of secure this would just be to do more chocolate. That's pretty simple, but it'll work. But in any event, do you feel any difference since you started the program? Is your mood, your energy, your appetite, your sleep, is anything brightening up?
Well, the sleep is, when you're on dialysis, it gives you insomnia.
Right.
So I am taking sleepies now.
Okay.
Now, the one thing that I do have that's really bothering me is every time I go on the dialysis machine, I plump up, I get edema.
Yeah.
And that is a problem because it takes me a couple of days to finally get it down to normal again.
All right, so here's how I want you to deal with that. I want you to be salting your food so that it tastes good. And every time you eat, I want you to make sure that what you're eating is at least 50% protein. 50% of the stuff on your plate, I want to be protein. So, eggs, chicken, fish, meat, rice and beans, mixed salted nuts, whatever. I want 50% of the food that you eat to be protein, and I want you to be salting your food so that it tastes good. And here's a little trick to try to get a better night's sleep after dialysis. Do 1 ounce of the white liquid calcium in a little bit of water. Yeah, the Beyond OsteoFX. Beyond OsteoFX. Do 1 ounce of that. Are you doing the powdered calcium, by the way, or the liquid calcium? Powdered?
Calcium. Powdered.
All right, I want you to switch that to the liquid.
Okay.
So the next time you order it, it's the same product. It's the same name. It's called Beyond OsteoFX, but it's in a liquid form. And I'd like you to get that instead of the powder. So you're going to have to switch your order out. I find that the liquid calcium is more effective than the powdered calcium. And I'd like you to start to take 1 ounce of the white liquid calcium immediately before bed. 1 ounce immediately before bed, and that should go a long way towards giving you a more restful sleep even after dialysis, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So
would the de-stress also help me with my edema?
No, the de-stress would not. What would help you with the edema is more salt, more calcium, and more protein, because the edema is caused by a reverse osmotic gradient that happens in your blood because there's not enough protein in your blood. The dialysis has stripped your blood of protein. And because it stripped your blood of protein, you're getting the water's going the wrong way in your body. Instead of going into the blood vessels, it's going out of the blood vessels. And that only happens if you're deficient in protein, and you're deficient in protein because the dialysis sucked it out. Right?
Okay. Right.
So you need to put more protein back in the body. But here's the deal. You need to eat more protein, but then you also need to increase your body's ability to digest and absorb that protein. So your stomach acid has to be up to speed. And to get your stomach acid up to speed, we recommend salting your food so that it tastes good and getting more calcium into your body. So how much liquid calcium are you taking now on a daily basis?
No, I'm not, except for the osteo, that's it.
Well, that's it. So that's the stuff. How much of that are you taking?
Just the 2 capsules, or the 2, not capsules,
scoops. 2 scoops?
Mm-hmm.
How much do you weigh?
157.
All right. So until you run out of that, do 6 scoops a day.
Wow.
6 scoops. 6 scoops a day. Have 2 of them be immediately before bed. 2 scoops immediately before. I'm telling you, trust me, you're going to sleep like a baby. And in the meantime, when you run out of that, for your next order the Beyond OsteoFX. But I want you to have 2 bottles of that a month. 2 bottles of the liquid Beyond OsteoFX a month. That equals 1 ounce of the white liquid calcium twice a day. 1 ounce twice a day. But in the meantime, take 6 scoops of the powder a day, and I'm going to bet you 25 cents that's going to make all the difference in the world, especially with sleep and then with this swelling in the extremities post-dialysis. You just need a little bit of tweaking, that's all. I'm glad you called.
I hope so, because I'm really going crazy with that edema. Every time.
Yeah, I know. Every time. That's because of the protein factor. So eat more protein, take more salt, go crazy for calcium for a couple of weeks, and then switch to the liquid. Give me a call back, with a report, Sylvia, and tell me how it went for you, because I like to track these things live on the air so the listening audience knows that we have a clue. I appreciate your call. Stick around, folks. We're finishing it up with Sue in Tennessee next, and then I think we're going to go to Monserrate in Florida. How about that? Stick around. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Finishing out today's show, April 30th, last day of April 2014, with Sue in Tennessee. Let's see if she made it back to the phone. Hey, Sue, you are live.
Oh, thank you, Doctor, for taking my call. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, how's it going? What's happening?
Well, we got on your program last summer. We heard you on talk show program in the afternoon, and we were actually amazed. At that time, I had ovarian cancer, just had surgery, had the tumor removed, and ever since I started those products last summer, I've been in great shape, lost 20 pounds without even trying, and I'm a nurse. However, and I've been doing everything that you've recommended, except for earlier this month. It was my birthday, and we had birthday cake, and I made bread for the holidays. And really, that's been the first time really that I've cheated with breads and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's cost me dearly in the last couple of weeks because I have had severe constipation and discomfort, like on my right upper quadrant. Yeah. I've never had before, but I am a nurse, and while I'm working, it's very hard to drink water. So I'm just trying to figure if there's anything I can do to remedy that.
Yeah, okay, so how long ago was your birthday?
April 7th.
Oh, all right. So here's the deal, right? What would be a good metaphor? Well, if for instance, if you were to cut your hand, right, and it needed stitches.
Yes.
You go somewhere, they clean it up, they put the stitches in, and it's going to take like 3-4 weeks for that wound to heal completely, right?
Yes.
It's going to take a long time, and it's going to be gradual healing. The body's going to heal itself up, and, in 6 or 7 weeks, you're going to look at it and not even know it was there. It's going to be completely gone except for a little scar. Well, depending on your sensitivity to gluten, which is impossible to predict, and there's no lab work, by the way, that can tell you your degree of sensitivity to gluten. It hasn't been invented yet. It doesn't exist. Some people are super sensitive to it. Some people moderately sensitive to it. Some people hardly sensitive to it at all. And depending on which category you're in, when you fall off the wagon, and this happened to me, so don't feel bad.
Okay.
You can get hammered by it. But see, the problem here is after the initial insult, well, what does gluten do? It causes inflammation and tissue damage and destruction. It's like smacking yourself in the arm with a hammer. You get a big black and blue. It's going to take a while for that to go away and get better. So the most sensible thing to think about here is that the stuff that you're bothered by now is side effect or lingering effects of the inflammation generated in your intestinal tract by falling off the wagon with gluten. And it's lingering because, that's just the way that wounds heal. It takes a while for your body to heal the inflammatory wound. It just does. So, however, there is something that you can do to speed that up. Have you ever had a topical burn and put aloe vera on it? Have you ever done that?
Oh, yeah, I've got them in my house. I've got a couple of them.
Yeah, it's awesome, right? Well, the aloe is very soothing to inflamed mucosal tissue. So there's a longevity product that has aloe in it that you can swallow. And when you swallow the aloe, it goes a long way towards helping to knock down the inflammatory response that the gluten engendered here. There's also another longevity product that helps to knock down inflammation. It's called Cell Shield RTQ. So, what's your current body weight, Sue?
130.
All right, so here's what I would do for 7 days, or maybe 10 or 14. I doubt very much that you'd need to do this for more than 14 days. I would do 2 Cell Shield RTQ 3 times a day with a meal. 2 Cell Shield RTQ 3 times a day with a meal. And I would get Maqui Plus. That's the aloe vera product. MAQUI Plus. Maqui Plus. I would do 1 ounce of that 3 times a day between meals, 1 ounce of that 3 times a day between meals, and you'll run out of that in 10 or 11 days. So just finish it up. I don't think you're going to need more than 10 days of that. And slowly but surely, all of this kind of constipative pain, inflammation should go by the wayside. And also, I would do a Google search for a yoga posture called the wind eliminating pose. The wind eliminating pose. And do the wind eliminating yoga posture once, 2 times a day, once in the morning, once in the afternoon. If you do those 3 things, Cell Shield RTQ, the Maqui Plus, and the yoga posture, it's going to go a long way towards helping you bounce back. And for heaven